What's up guys, this is Concrete Breakdowns. We're going to give a different format a try here. In the Everything You Need to Know About series, I'll be recapping big events in a short video. And also going over some very concise analysis. It'd be a big help for the channel if you'd hit that thumbs up and subscribe button. Let's get into the video. Jeez Louise, what a turn of events that was, huh? Dustin Poirier knocking out Conor Mcgregor at UFC 257 in the second round. Those McGregor fights sure get you on the edge of your seat, huh? This was a rematch, so let's recap the timeline real quick here. McGregor and Poirier first fought at UFC 178. The fight took place at featherweight. Both guys could be described as extreme weight cutters at the time, having large frames usually seen at lightweight. These two fighters were at different points in their careers at the moment of their first clash. Poirier already had faced some losses in the UFC and was rebuilding himself, riding a 3-fight win streak. Porier had built a very exchange-heavy boxing game on top of his excellent BJJ skills. His offense-heavy, forward-swarming boxing made him dangerous, but also vulnerable to being countered. Porier fought Akira Corassani before Conor, and while he got a beautiful knockout win over Corassani, he got clipped several times in this fight, showing signs of things to come. McGregor in the meanwhile was in the midst of his now legendary featherweight title run. Conor was mostly pressuring opponents backwards with a diverse set of kicks and hurting them along the fence line with his left hand. 3 fights into his UFC run, McGregor had already gained the backing of Ireland and a giant rabid following. McGregor's verbal jabs and mental warfare seemed to really get the better of Poirier in the build-up of the fight. Poirier even claiming he never disliked anyone as much as Conor McGregor. A lot of people remember this fight as a one-sided shutout. But Poirier actually enjoyed noticeable success at kicking range. But as the fight turned more and more into a southpaw gunslinging contest, it became clear that Conor's gun was a bigger caliber and was also a more precise shooter. The fight was decided in 90 seconds. The man with the better left hand had won. Sometimes a fight can be as simple as that. Both these fighters eventually moved up to lightweight. Poirier became a durable warhorse at lightweight, took wins and losses but just kept progressing his skills fight over fight. And Conor McGregor became, well, Conor McGregor. As fate would have it, these guys would meet each other again in the cage at UFC 257. This time as dads and completely different fighters, without the animosity, just two well-respected fighters duking it out for a better position in the division. Place yourself in Poirier's shoes for a second. Not only did you lose the first fight, you also got yourself a tough style matchup on your hands. Poirier is not necessarily an extremely slow starter in his fights, but he's definitely not a fast starter. He gets hit early and usually it takes some time before the bulk of his volume starts landing. And while Poirier added many new wrinkles to his game since the first fight, his style is still mostly built around successful boxing exchanges, which all plays into McGregor's hand, as Conor's a tremendously fast starter and finds his finishes through countering punches. McGregor's own game has also developed a lot over time. He has added a developed lead hand, tremendous slipping and range management ability to his already lethal pressure and counter game. All these abilities accumulate into something we need to simplify into a concept. Let's call it the Mcgregor Zone. Indicated by the green bar, the Mcgregor Zone is basically a space where McGregor can leap in, tag you and re-establish his distance. McGregor can force you into a situation where he can land shots on you, but you can land back effectively on him. The McGregor Zone is a real pain to deal with. If you move forward, you deal with accurate, powerful counters. If you move backwards, you're getting pressured into the fence. Because of this style matchup, a ton of people thought an early KO win for Conor was definitely in the cards. And even after the fact, this still seems like a solid prediction. Conor actually was able to land clean on Dustin and get out of the way in many of the boxing exchanges. So let's take a look at how Dustin disrupted the McGregor Zone. Let's talk about that calf kick. Dustin took what was effective from the first fight, built on it and coated it with a modern lick of paint. Calf kick is a very disruptive kick that is a giant part of the modern MMA game. Conor was clearly not used to having this vulnerable part of his leg targeted. Dustin exploited McGregor's wide stance and habit to push off his legs to get into boxing exchanges. He timed his entries beautifully and damaged his lead leg, taking away a lot of Conor's excellent movement. The wrestling and clinch work. Dustin got a takedown early in the first round. Conor is an excellent grappler himself. The skill gap in grappling was not large enough for a game plan to solely build around ground and pound or submission to work out in Dustin's favor. But by engaging in a prolonged grappling and clinch exchange with Conor in that first round, Dustin did a number on Conor's cardio. Dustin forced Conor to build lactic acid in his arms, diminishing both Conor's firepower as well as diminishing his general gas tank, but also presenting the threat of Dustin's double leg into the meta of the fight. You see, the calf kick was there to disrupt and punish Conor for leaping into striking range. Dustin's boxing, especially his counter hooks in this fight, kept Conor from pushing through that kicking range and presented sustained pressure. And lastly, the takedown threat was the glue that kept the whole plan together. Any solutions Conor was going to come up with was better not going to involve presenting his hips. So Dustin basically took Conor's legs away, took out some of the pop of his arms, and stacked multiple forms of offense on top of each other to disrupt the Mcgregor Zone. As the Mcgregor Zone shrank further and further, with Conor's leg and overall energy declining further and further, Conor got stuck on the fence, taking Dustin's very potent power with nowhere to go. Dustin came prepared with a game plan specifically for Conor, and it worked out like a charm, getting a devastating finish in the second round. This was an amazing fight and an amazing implementation of a game plan from Dustin Poirier. Conor seemed to take the loss on the chin, and he'll be looking to be more active this year. And I'll be looking forward to that. The knockout loss may have been very unexpected for sure, but this was not a terrible performance on McGregor's part. He was outwitted by a former foe who took away his weapons and simply fought a beautiful fight. The lightweight title picture is not entirely clear at the moment, but Poirier will most likely be fighting for a belt next. Conor and Porier are 1-1 now, and there's already been talks about a third fight. It would be tremendously interesting to see if Conor could make the proper adjustments in that fight. That's it for today's video. I got pretty close to that 5-minute mark. Thank you for watching. Remember to like and subscribe to watch more unique breakdown content.